होंठों पे ऐसी बात, होंठों पे ऐसी बात मैं दबा के चली आई, खुल जाए वो ही बात तो दुहाई है दुहाई.
Hello and welcome to India Today. This is Anita Britto in conversation with the very beautiful Sophie Choudry. Hello.
And how are you? You have stolen my dog.
I love this. Look at this.
Tia has gone to you and I think she's going home with you.
I love that. And I have two guests today. This is Tia, Sophie's daughter.
Yes.
Say hi, Tia.
My bacha.
But I'm so happy to have both of you with me
Thank
today
you so
for a
much.
conversation. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Lovely, lovely song called
Thank you so
have
much.
been released. How does it feel?
It feels good. It always feels good to release a song because everybody complains that I don't release them often enough. So when I do, it feels really good. This was actually supposed to come in December. Thoda sa delay ho gaya, but you know, har cheez ka waqt hota hai, so it's fine. Very happy to have the song out. It's something that I've worked on with Saregama. And it is, of course, a classic epic song that we've adapted. I don't want to call it a remix because it's actually not. You know, a remix is when you take the entire song and you just, you know, rework it in terms of musically. But, or add beats to it or whatever. But here we've got a whole new composition, new lyrics, and it's just a hook line that we've kept. So people seem to be connecting to it. It's very early days. It's only been like 5 days. It's nothing. But Touchwood has been doing really well on YouTube. It's really picking up with people catching onto the hook steps. So I'm excited.
Like you said, there are people who are complaining that you don't come out with new songs very often. There was a time when you were coming back with back-to-back songs, and we loved that era. What keeps you busy? What keeps you away from, you know, making music?
One, finding good songs. It's really hard to find good songs. And two, I think I'm somebody who wants it to be like a production. You know, like I am not someone who can just keep releasing songs. I want the video should be great. Everything should be done properly. It should be done on a grand scale because that's what I've always been known for. I think tomorrow if I were to put out something, you know, just like something like a small little video with my song, I don't know, I feel like people would be disappointed because there's been times when I've released videos and I've not danced enough and the feedback has been like, but she wasn't dancing or she didn't do this. And so there's a certain expectation. Which I also have from my favorite artists. You know, like when I look up to my people, like my favorite people like a Jennifer Lopez or a Beyonce, there's a certain expectation that I have from their video and I expect that. So when they don't deliver that, I do get disappointed as a fan. So I always feel like I try to give my best. I guess that is one of the reasons. And like I said, finding good songs is not so easy. And I guess I travel a lot for stage shows. People feel that maybe they don't see me on screen so often. But I'm forever traveling in the live circuit, doing a lot of shows, and that keeps me busy as well. So I guess everything takes time. But the good news is that I do have one song a month coming for the next few months, which is great. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
This is what we were waiting
yes.
for. But what was the inspiration behind this song? Where did all this come about?
I actually had not thought about doing this song. After my last song, Gori Hai, which did really well, which was a take on Gori Hai Kalaiyan, I was like very determined that I'm going to do like a completely original song, which is what we've been working on. But in between, Saregama came to me and they said, you know, there's a couple of songs that we'd like you to check out and see if we can work on them with you. And there was one other one, which I won't say what it was because I was like, that is far too, like, I don't know, I don't think anyone should remake that. And then they said this and I was like, well, this is also epic. I don't know if anyone should touch it. But the thing is, if you listen to the original, which is an absolute classic, you wouldn't be able to remake it as it is. It has to remain that way. So if you're gonna adapt it, then that is something that's workable. So I said, okay, let's give it a try. And they got these young composers, lyricists, Rahi and Ardas, to work on it. And I was very curious to see what they would do with it. And one of the first lines they sent me was something that I found very cool, which was this Zuba par mota sa tala laga ke chali aayi. And I said that that's a very interesting idea because it is honto pe aisi baat mein daba ke chali aayi. So I said that's a very cool line. It's quite new also. So that's how they got working on it, and that's how we worked on the song.
Yeah. But tell me one thing, Sophie, do you miss your era, my era actually,
our era
actually?
Hugely.
Do you miss that?
Hugely. I miss it hugely for the fact that there was real love for music. And it was, I mean, of course people will always love music, but like now music sometimes feels like it's snacky. there's very few songs that endure or that last. And it's not that a song has to be like deep, meaningful to last. Ik Pardesi is still trends today, and people, every day somebody comes up to me and says, oh my God, your song Ik Pardesi. And that was a fun, cute dance song. And so it wasn't that just romantic or sad songs would endure, good songs would endure. Today, everything is, will you catch on to it in 15 seconds? Will it trend on social media? Absolutely. Will it, I mean, the whole criteria is so different. Last year I did a project with Instagram, which was very interesting, called 1 Minute Music, in which you had to create an original song. The duration was 1 minute and make a music video. I mean, our intros used to be 30 seconds. Exactly. You know, here you're expecting me to come up with a mukra, andra, everything, the hook in 1 minute. So it's a very different place. Of course, one has to remain relevant. One has to move with the times. But do I miss the era of seeing those pop videos of Shan and Euphoria and, you know, all our videos? Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think everybody who is from that time does miss it.
Actually.
For sure.
But right now the songs don't connect with people. What do you think is, what are we missing in the music world?
I think that there was a time when songs actually were at the forefront of the movies. They drove the movies. And so that's why when once in a blue moon you get that kind of album, for example, like the songs from Animal, people connect with them so deeply because it's something that's come after, oh my God, you know, this is something that I want to sing and I connect to. And so I think it's the fact that the importance of songs is there, but once again, it's shortcuts. So people are like, this song was a hit, let's just remake this. And I find it very strange that in movies you are recreating other movie songs and pop songs. So, you know, like be it, for example, like a Coca-Cola or even a Kala Chashma. I mean, they were really good remakes for sure. But these were all pop songs. Even the Mitra's song, Akhiyan Gulab, which I love, was actually their own song, which was put in the movie. So I'm just saying that it's very strange to me when movies who have all the resources in the world are actually still recreating songs. So that means the creativity is less. You're kind of just putting out the same stuff that we've been hearing. So that's one of the reasons I think that people don't connect. So when something really good and really original comes along that is made not just for trending, then you realize that that really lasts.
Right. But also remix is not that we are making it right now. We used to remix it
always.
Even in the past we have done it, but it was not criticized as much as it has been criticized now. Yeah,
because it was not done so much in the movie space. It was not done, it's not like every day a song was releasing that was a remix. That was a pop thing. That was those particular remixes that everybody loves and remembers till date were done in the non-film space, where they were completely recreated and the videos had nothing to do with the movie. The videos were a movie in themselves, with their own story and their own choreography, and everything was so different to the original. My Ik Pardesi and the original Ik Pardesi were like this. You can't compare them. It was like two completely different songs. So it was that. Whereas here you remake a song and you just have, you know, the hero heroine dancing on it. So that's probably what it is. I think that's the main difference.
But there are some artists who say that it is a good way to introduce the old songs to the new generation.
I'm one of those people. I do say, but I think there's a way of doing it. I mean, it's really ironic. Like when I was doing Hontompe, and the team wanted to call it Lips. That's why it's called Lips, because they were like, you're not understanding that you call it Hontompe, people will just think it's a remix, and it's not. It is actually a fully original song with you just using the hook. For example, the way a Raghav or someone does it. They just use that hooky line. So that doesn't mean that his song is not called Desperado, because it is Desperado, right? So it's the same thing. But now with Lips and the idea of Hontompe, they said to me that there's an audience that knows the original. But you'll be surprised to know that there's an audience who does not. And for them, this will be the song. Like, this is what they know of Hontompe. So even with Ik Pardesi, the amount of people that come up to me and say, your song, thinking that that is the original, because they don't know that 50s mein aaya tha black and white gaana Ik Pardesi. So that does happen. It's a great way to introduce it, but I just wish that there wasn't a remake in every second movie.
I wish that too.
But
there is a time. How do you know when a remix is supposed to be recreated or not? When do you know that? Where do you draw that line?
It's so difficult because it is a bit hit and miss. I mean, even in the movies. I mean, in recent times for me, some of the best ones. I mean, I thought Aankh Mare they did really well, and I think Jhumka they did in a very clever way. So those were a couple of good ones that were done interestingly. But there's many that are just done. Like for me, maybe an example would be Aap Jaisa Koi. I didn't love how it was done, but that's also for me, it's very personal because it's by my mentor, Britto. Yeah. And it missed that vibe, like how do you recreate that? And I think a lot of people know that, you know, like to recreate something as epic as Aap Jaisa Koi and again put it in a nightclub setup and everything, it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. Yeah. Whereas, for example, a Honton Pe, the original with Vajanti Malaji and Dev Anand Saab, I mean, that whole setup is completely different to what we have done. Yeah. You cannot compare them because it's essay. Mine is an Afrobeat. Theirs is completely Desi. It's very different. So you can't compare them. So I think the endeavor is if you are adapting an old song, you make it in a way that you don't compare it. You try to present it in a newer way where you can say, yes, it is fully adapted, inspired, but it's really got a new spin on it. Maybe that's what works. I don't know. If there was a magic formula, we would all have non-stop hits. It's so difficult. You see, look, music is so subjective. There will be some people who love what I've done with this. There will be some people who will be like, why did you touch it? It's one of those things, you know, and I think that is always the risk of when you do a remake. It's just somehow that whenever I have done it, people have really liked how I have done it. Most people have not been offended. They haven't said, oh my God, pura gana barbad kar diya. They've actually listened to it as if it were a French song, a fresh song. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe I'm lucky and I try to respect the integrity of the original and give it my own spin. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Tell me one thing, who's the next person you want to collaborate with? Male mein, internationally also, any international music artists that you would like?
Oh my God, there's so many that I would love to collab with. In terms of if you're saying in terms of like a good-looking person in the video, there's many. But actually, I would really rather collaborate with like a male singer. I think if like a Honey Singh and I did something together, it would be interesting. Or I think maybe Bacha, but he collaborates with a lot of girls. Honey doesn't do it that often. I think like collaborating with somebody like that could be super interesting. Yeah, because he collaborates with like a lot of good-looking girls. Yeah. But so does he collaborate with like a female singer that often? No. And it's the same for me. Have I collaborated with a male singer? No, not really. So I think that could be an interesting take. Otherwise, like internationally, I find Maluma very hot. And so somebody like that, somebody like how Diljit collaborated and Pepita, right? So like with like a Latin artist, I think that could be really interesting because Indian and Latin lends itself very well together. So that could be fun. Yeah.
Let's manifest this.
Yes, manifesting.
So that it happens very quickly and we get to hear that song.
Yes, I would love that.
But Sophie, you have balanced it very well. Your songs, your music, then acting and then hosting, everything. And now you're doing stage performances as well. So you balance it really well. How is the question?
I don't know if I balance you're being very sweet. I don't know if I balance the acting as well. I just know that I was one of the first people to be this multitasking, you know, abroad they try to call it like a triple threat. I was not a triple threat, but I was someone who was singing, dancing, trying my hand at acting. When I moved from London to India, it was never the dream to like be the #1 heroine. Unlike a lot of people, I wanted to be a pop star. But I got the opportunity, you know, by an amazing David Dhawan, who was like my idol growing up. Govinda and Lolo were my icons, you know. So to get that opportunity and then to start doing films, it made a very interesting space for me, you know. And that came at a time in my life when pop music was actually going down and film music was coming up. So I was really fortunate to always be able to reinvent myself. I ended up being the girl who could sing, perform live, dance, act, you do certain roles in movies and host. And it just gave me a very unique niche for myself, which is why when people are like, you know, oh, you're still at it, I'm like, because somehow I didn't depend on one thing. I think if I had come and just thought I'll just, you know, only depend on acting, it would have been very difficult because at that time for people to accept me, I came with, oh, she's already an MTV VJ, she's already a pop star, she has an image. It would have been very difficult. And it was difficult. Film people really used to slot you It was difficult.
You were boxed immediately.
Immediately. This is all you can do. So that's today with the OTT space, it's more exciting. There's more things you can do. But I haven't acted in that long, but you will see me in a movie that next month. In April.
Which one?
I can't say.
Want to know the
I can't say. They'll kill me if I say. But it was a really fun thing to do with a director I was dying to work with. So that was a really fun thing to do. And OTT I will definitely venture into if it's something that really gives me something to do. I don't want to do OTT if it ends up with me being a glam doll, which is what I was in most of my movies. I think only Pyar Ke Side Effects and a couple of others gave me the chance to really have an interesting, exciting role. So OTT, I would not want to be a glam doll. I would want the chance to perform. Otherwise, honestly, my music videos are mini movies in themselves. I love doing them. And between my shows, my hosting a lot of the big awards and traveling, I really am in a very happy space.
But given a chance, who would you like to collaborate with in a movie especially? And what kind of roles are you looking for? Not glam, but what else?
No, my dream was always to play like a spy, you know, to like play a spy or some kind of, you know, action, something a little bit more drama rather than just the whole glam thing. So there's many people, when people say, who would you like to collaborate with? I mean, today, if you look at it, there's so many incredible people who are newer also. I mean, on OTT, I love the stuff that Raj and DK do. They do some very cool stuff. Hansalji does some amazing stuff. There's so many incredible people. So one is open to collaborate with anybody, depending on the role that you're getting. I think today we've all realized it's so much more about the content than just the names associated with it. At one time, it used to be, if I work with these people, it's guaranteed. I mean, I can take my own example. My debut film was the amazing David Dhawan sir, Vashu Bhagnani producing, you know, Sanjay Dutt, Fardeen Khan, Zayed. I mean, you know, the biggest of the biggest. The launch was huge, as we were discussing. I mean, you know, our music launch was in a train going to Shirdi with all the media with us. Premiere pe hum doliyon pe aaye. But premiere jab humne baith ke dekha, we all were just like, oh my God, like we don't know if this is going to work. And it was not a blockbuster. But Pyar Ke Side Effects, which was such an offbeat, unexpected, which I kept saying no to till they finally said, oh, you just listen to it. That ended up being a turning point for me. So I think it makes you realize it's not always the names, it's really the content, and now more than ever.
Post-pandemic, yes, it's the most important.
More than ever, it is what are you doing in that? What is the story? What is your role in it? So I think that is very important.
But Sophie, you also worked with Mahesh Babu recently, 2014?
Yeah, this 10 years.
10 years, sorry.
It feels like yesterday.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, I know. Oh, he is incredible. He is so amazing. And it was Surya Kumar sir, Sukumar sir, who did Pushpa. And I got to work with them. And it was the most amazing experience working with them. It was so respectful, so grand. We shot the song in London. And they're just so humble and so lovely. I absolutely loved working with them, and I would love to do a Telugu role or a song again in the future, for sure.
But anything that has come your way in the recent times?
From South? No, not really, to be very honest. If something did come, I would definitely look into it. But I think now there's so many wonderful actors, and also, I think people used to look at me a lot for songs. But that era of songs in movies is also not really there anymore. You know, when you would, like when I did an Ala Re Ala or things like that, that is not necessarily there, that sort of, I don't want to call it an item song, but like that song in a movie where you would see a girl performing with the hero. That's very rare now. It doesn't happen so often. So, you know, if that comes back, I would love to do it in South for sure.
Awesome. On that final note, I would not let you go without you singing few lines from your song.
Okay.
So please.
रखी बात दबा के दिल में कहीं सरेआम ना हो जाए, कहीं होंठों पर आना जाए, बात होंठों पर आना जाए, दिल हुए बेसबर मुँह से होवे ना सबर, ज़ुबां पर मोटा सा ताला लगा के चली आई, होंठों पे ऐसी बात, होंठों पे ऐसी बात मैं दबा के चली आई, खुल जाए वो ही बात तो दुहाई है दुहाई, होंठों पे ऐसी बात मैं दबा के चली आई. खुल जाए वो ही बात तो दुहाई है दुहाई.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
Sophie.
so
It was
much for
really
being here.
lovely talking to
Thank you. Thank you. Please watch Lips, stream it and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.